Story time. I want to talk with you today about a mother's reflection on the impact of an HIE diagnosis on her baby and whether her views about this entire process, whether they stood the test of time. This was a very difficult conversation that I had to have with this family. And if you are going through something like this, if your baby has an HIE diagnosis, maybe this is recent, maybe you've just left the hospital, or maybe you're a couple of months into this journey, or maybe a couple of years into this journey. If this is you, please stay to the end, because what this family talked with me about is something that I'm not sure a lot of families are taking the time today, if they're new into this journey, whether they're thinking about this. All right, so what this family, what's going on with them is, as I said earlier, their baby has an HIE diagnosis. And at the time this happened, the family thought that medical malpractice, that was the cause of it. But because they were not, as they told me, they were not Sioux people, that they didn't think that they would take that type of step. They would not even speak with the birth injury attorney, or even, get any type of consultation as to what options they may have had available to them. And as this conversation went on, what I kind of got the hint on is that initially, early on, they were kind of like looking down on other people who thought that that might be the right way to go, because like I said, for them, they were not Sioux people. And what they thought is that, in their opinion, that God would just take care of everything for them. Well, this is what has happened. As time continued to go forward, this baby moved on from a baby to becoming 10 years old, to becoming 20 plus years old. And now the family, the parents now, they are approaching their 60s. So at the time when they were initially thinking about a lot of these things, their baby was a baby, and their analysis on everything, it centered around their baby essentially being a baby for the rest of their life. But that is not what happened. As time moved forward, a lot of the things that they were having to do in regards to their child when they were younger, when that child was younger, they were, quote, easier, as they said, they were easier to do. It's easier to move their child, to turn their child, all of these types of things. When they were a baby and a little child, it was easier. But as time began to go on, like I said, moving or having to deal with a 20 plus year old adult child, and you're approaching your 60s, is a lot different from doing that when you were a younger person. So they were reaching out because they were trying to see, was there any options that they had now, because they were realizing they needed resources, they needed help. They were getting older, and they were beginning to think, okay, what's going to happen if we're gone one day and our baby, which is now an adult child, is still here. And the sad part about it is that time in these types of cases, it does not stand still. You do not have an unlimited amount of time to pursue these types of cases and to investigate these types of cases. And if there is something there, to make a claim to hold those responsible for causing this injury. In this particular family situation, their time frame had run out. They had no more time. Because so much time had passed, any particular or any type of potential claim that they had, it was extinguished. Any type of claim that their adult child may have had, it was extinguished. Again, statutes of limitations. Most states have these types of rules in place where you only get a certain amount of time to be able to move forward with something like this. So I'm sharing this story with you today because maybe you're watching this, or you're seeing this video and you are in that place. Right now, your baby is small and little, and you have these types of views. You're not a, quote, Sioux person, but there's no way to know whether these views that you're holding today, get in this particular set of circumstances, whether you are still going to hold those same views as you get older and time moves forward. So I just want to talk about this because this is this side of these type of HIE journeys that's rarely talked about. Families rarely, in my opinion, think about these types of things, because I talk with a lot of families, and that's not where the thinking is. So hopefully with this video today, you can see why thinking ahead is something that you also want to take into consideration. And as one parent has told me in the past, that who was a religious parent, they said essentially that God puts people in our lives that can help us. It's just up to us to see those people and to actually ask for help. If you have more questions, maybe you're watching this video today because your baby has an HIE diagnosis and you have questions as to what caused that diagnosis. Was it medical malpractice? Was it genetics? Was it developmental? Any of those types of things. If you have that going on, what I invite you to do is to go ahead and get your cell. There's a telephone number down below. Go ahead and pick up your cell and give me a call. Remember, it costs you no money to talk with us initially about your baby story. When you contact my office, just make sure that you pick a good date and a time to get on our calendar so we can know when to call you back and to talk with you about your baby story. In addition to that, you want to make sure that you also leave a good email address, because sometimes we will have to talk with you, or we have to communicate with you through email. And we want to make sure that we're sending this information to an email address that you frequently check. And finally, I practice law here in the state of Maryland, and sometimes we will have people who will contact my office. They are in the United States, but they're not in Maryland. If that is you, just understand and know that we have to use what we call co-counsel or local counsel. In other words, a lawyer in your state. And that's something that we can look to help you with, but I just want to make sure that you understand that co-counsel or local counsel aspect of things if you are not here in the state of Maryland. All right, that's going to be it for today's quick educational video. Again, I'm Marcus Boston, and I'm one of the childbirth injury and medical malpractice attorneys practicing law here in the state of Maryland at Boston Law Group, LLC. We'll talk with you next time. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.